It's time to take a TO. You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross. Each episode, we take you inside the DMV sports scene and beyond. Sponsorship and advertising opportunities are available. And now, welcome to this week's episode. It's time to take a TO. Here's your host, Kurt Cross, with Coach Steve Turner.
Welcome to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross, and we welcome you, our audience, to episode 13. You can find us on Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and just about anywhere you get your podcast content. We are a weekly podcast where we talk about local and national sports. We talk life. We might jump into some tough subjects. And of course, we talk WCAC athletics. Thanks for listening. And again, we welcome you to episode 13. Before we get into this week's episode, Coach Turner, it's been a couple of weeks. We had holidays and everything. Man. What's up with you, fella?
Happy New Year to you, Coach.
Happy New Year. How long can you say Happy New Year?
I think forever.
I think until you see them or until like the third week.
I think.
Oh, you think February?
Once you get to February.
How about if my Christmas tree is still up?
How about if mine is too?
All right, so we can say Happy New Year as long as we want.
Yes, we can.
I think the tree is still up. Ours is up, decorated. Guess what?
Lights on.
Lights are still on.
The lights on last night.
Still on, yes.
Hey, it's all good.
The lights are still on.
You know me. That's my favorite holiday. So
you gonna hold on?
I'm gonna hold on for a little bit.
All right. So what's going on in the Turner household? How is the wife? How were the holidays for you two?
For me, too short.
All right. Were the boys home? I'm sorry.
Boys are home.
Okay.
Christian's home. He actually got to go up north, visit with Mom for a little bit.
All right.
Jared got to get home for a few days, but just too short, man.
Right.
Give me the holiday for a month, man.
Man.
Give me a month. Just lock everything down.
Does that include basketball for a month?
Lock it all down.
Just family.
Just family.
Okay. And some good meals.
Just family, man.
Okay.
I mean, good meals come with that anyway.
Right. Okay.
But wife been battling a little cold over the last couple weeks, but she's rocking and rolling. She keeps pressing on. You know her. She ain't stopping.
Is she still on I Street watching those games?
Some of them.
All right.
She gonna stay on the computer if she can't get to Northeastern to see her baby. So he probably gets a little more of his games watched than I do at the moment.
Okay.
But it's all good.
I'm gonna ask about him in a little bit too, but all right, well the holidays are over and now we are counting the days until spring. I did notice something yesterday. It was after 5 and it was still a little bit light outside. We're getting some daylight back,
yeah.
Little by little. Chelsea's basketball team is still undefeated, and of course Adam is still enjoying his chef classes. He takes weekly chef classes. I've got a break.
Where's he doing that at?
At school.
Oh, cool.
They bring a chef onto campus, and they're like 8 of the kids in the class.
For real?
And they have an after-school chef class.
Hey, Gonzaga, we need a chef class, man.
Yeah, so he is doing that. I've got a break from PA announcing, but I picked up a new school in the meantime. St. Andrews came calling, so I'll be doing some of their games as well. You know Kevin over there, right?
Yeah, I know Kev.
Hey, he picked me up.
Look, I don't want to hear no more about my team.
Look, you know who my team is? The Greenbacks. If they come calling and I got a spot on my schedule, I'll be doing this week I'll be doing St. Andrews versus Sidwell.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been in 2 of the last 3 championships,
I think,
right? Yeah. No, this week, though, there's been a change in Ashburn. For a certain area football team, the WCAC picture is coming more into focus. The NFL playoffs begin in just a few days, and we have a new national champion in college football. But will the Big Blue, can they keep him in Ann Arbor for much longer? We're going to get into that and a bunch more. But first, we will take a break and return with this week's Starting 5.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
A Squared Home and Office Solutions. A Squared is the go-to source for home and office network and audiovisual solutions. They will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
The starting five. Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross, and we are now at our starting five. This is where I ask Coach Turner 5 questions he's never seen or heard from me, and he has 30 seconds to answer each question. If he goes over his 30 seconds, you will hear... Those are the famous boxing bells, the starting 5 boxing bells. Coach Turner, have you seen these questions on my script?
Come on, Coach. You won't never show me those pictures. I be trying, but you ain't showing.
You cannot infiltrate the 5 questions. Then it sounds like we have a righteous starting 5, so let's get to it. Vegas. What casino game is Coach Turner best at? You got your blackjack, your roulette, your craps. You got baccarat. What is your flavor?
I like to roll the dice.
Okay.
And I'll play some blackjack.
Okay.
I can't say either one is my game.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I always somehow hit on the slots.
Right. So you might spend $1 or $2 on the dice or the blackjack, but the slots, they seem to like you a little bit better.
The most money I've ever won in a casino has been twice off of slots.
Anyone in particular, or you're random with it?
I like the 777s.
Oh, I like the 777s with the fireball.
Yes, sir.
We got a lot in common. Yeah. But my favorite one is Wild Americoins, where Uncle Sam comes out and starts dancing.
I like that one.
I win. I like that one. All right, if you had a choice, question 2. Do you want to win an Oscar or a Grammy? You want to be a part of a movie that wins, or do you want to be a part of a song that wins Song of the Year?
Song of the Year.
You want Song of the Year? Who are you doing that song with? If you could collab with anybody, who are you doing that song with? You could be the producer even. Who do you want to put together?
Ooh.
You want to put Drake and Adele together, don't you?
Jay-Z and Adele.
Jay-Z and Adele. Okay, you want to see that duo. All right. What part-time job or jobs did you have as a teen? I know you cut grass. I know you did that.
Mm-hmm. I worked at a shoe store.
Okay.
I worked at Hex.
Okay.
I worked at UPS.
Okay. I think I knew that one. I think.
Landscaping was always on it. I had my own little snow shoveling growing up. Where else? I think those are the majors.
I worked, not that anyone asked me, my first paid job was working at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. You have to be 14 to work at McDonald's.
Oh, I'll tell you the other one. I worked at the Emissions.
Emissions,
where you get
for your car.
For your car.
Okay. I worked at McDonald's. You have to be 14. I have a late birthday. They thought I was already 14. I wasn't. I got fired because I wasn't old enough.
Oh, wow.
I worked at Brooklyn Service Star Hardware. I worked at Jerry Subs in Silver Spring around the corner from where the Fillmore is. I worked at, where else? Record World in Landover.
Oh, wow.
Those were the 4 jobs I had before I started like really DJ at nightclubs and stuff like that. But I used to cut keys at Brooklyn Service Star Hardware, right around the corner from Catholic U. All right, if you could control one of the world's earthly issues, now I'm talking scientifically or naturally, what would you control? For example, would you stop it from ever raining, or what natural kinds of things would you stop? For me, it would be climate change, because
I would say climate. We got to fix the ozone. The ozone layer is
we're blowing right through it.
We're ruining it.
Right. So you would control climate change.
Climate change for sure.
All right. You know what we're doing now. Keep 3, eliminate 1.
This is the last one, or this is 4?
This is the last one, brother. You did Vegas.
Yeah.
You won a Grammy. You told me your part-time jobs, and you're controlling one of the world's natural issues.
Keep 3, get rid of 1.
All right, keep 3, get rid of 1. This is going to be a tough one. I think I know your answer. Keep 3, eliminate 1. Star Wars. I know that's not getting eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Superman. E.T. or Die Hard. Which movie are you getting rid of? You got to keep 3, eliminate 1. Are we keeping the original Star Wars, the original Superman, E.T., or the original Die Hard?
That's a tough one.
All right. You're on the clock,
Star
brother.
Wars is easily staying.
Obviously.
I'm going to get rid of Die Hard.
What? You getting rid of? You gonna keep E.T. over Die Hard?
E.T. That was one of those movies when in your time of growing up.
You got to keep Superman.
Got to keep Superman.
All right, you got to keep
And
Die Hard.
I love Die Hard, but it's
You get rid of Bruce
out of
Willis?
the 4, Bruce got to go.
John McClane got to go.
He got to go.
All right, I hear you, brother. If I'm probably getting rid of E.T. because I love Die Hard so much. I mean, they're all great movies, and I do consider Die Hard a Christmas movie.
E.T. phone home.
E.T. ain't going home messing with me. He ain't going home messing with me. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5. The starting 5.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgage intelligently.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word.
Guarantee the most epic and talked about homecoming or prom when you hire the Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Visit us online at www.mapdja.com. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association, serving the entire East Coast.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross. Shout out to our listeners on iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Amazon Music, Spotify, and to our entire audience. That includes the cats down there on I Street. And that includes some St. Andrews folks who I talked to when I did my walkthrough, and they said, yeah, I know, Take a TO. And they asked me the 2 episodes they should listen to the most out of everything we've done. I said, the race in America, you've got to do that one. That was Race Unscripted. And then our January 6th episode. Those are 2 most listened to episodes. And one of his coaches said, I like to listen to stuff on the way home, so that's what I'm going to listen to. Coach, there's been a change in Ashburn. Our beloved Redskins are no longer under the leadership of Mr. Ron Rivera. Upon conclusion of the 2023-2024 season, which ended in yet another loss at FedEx Field, ownership spared Rivera as it was his birthday, so they waited until Monday to let him go. First thing Monday morning, coach met ownership, and what we all expected did in fact occur. Now we have the coaching vacancy we imagined would happen, and the offseason you were waiting for is now here with step 1, getting leadership in place. Your thoughts first on the firing of Ron Rivera.
Like Ron.
Yeah.
But it was time.
Okay.
We needed a total clean house and a fresh new start.
Okay.
And so that was the final piece to building a fresh new start.
Okay. All right. And now what do we do? where do you want the pieces to fall in place first? Just so you know, he never sees the script, so I'm just tossing questions at him. So I'm watching his brain work right as we speak. If you were Josh
I want to know
Harris,
who's coaching this team.
Okay.
And then I want him to be able to have, I would like to see the coach have a little say in who he's working with as a GM.
Wow. Okay. So most people do it the other way.
They usually do it the other way.
Okay. All right. I would be a GM first kind of guy, and they're looking at, people are in Miami at Josh Harris's home as we speak. The San Francisco assistant GM is getting interviewed. I think Detroit's assistant GM, Baltimore's assistant GM, maybe the Eagles assistant GM. A lot of people are being interviewed. They have a list. What does not surprise me, but I'm glad to see, they've got 2 names as consultants. As soon as they got rid of Ron, they had this in place.
Well, they were already ready.
Yeah, they were ready.
So that's a sign for me that we are moving in the right direction.
Okay.
There wasn't any delay other than allowing Ron to finish out the season.
Right.
They obviously had these other things in place so that they can announce them right away.
Sure. And Josh Harris is getting the hell out of the way.
And he is. And I think he's putting other good folks in place to help him make a sound decision.
I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but let's say you take over a new school or a new program, and you want someone to be in charge of the game day experience. That's not Steve Turner. You might call me, Curtis, I need music, I need streaming, I need go to work. And if I start a basketball program and neither one of us get the coach, I'm calling you basketball ops. Steve, you know how the big program runs. You go do it. Let me be behind the mic. So he's putting people in place who know what they're doing.
Correct.
And while one of them is not actually a football guy, one of them is a talent guy and a program guy in Myers, who ran Golden State. And, well, we've seen their success. 10 years ago, we didn't talk about Golden State. Now we talk about Golden State, So he's putting people in place. Does Eric Bieniemy stay?
I just think it comes down to who they hire.
Okay. Does he get a shot at the head coaching job? I do have that answer.
I don't know that he does or doesn't, but I think he deserves an opportunity to get an interview.
Well, when I saw Josh Harris on the screen, he said that Eric understands that this is a process, but he understands that he will be one of the interviewees. That's what Josh said yesterday at 1 o'clock in his press conference. Wow, so someone's calling us. We're just going to let that go ahead, and we're going to reject that call. Send that one to voicemail. Usually we're recording at night, and all the phones are in evening mode. We're recording during the day this time. The current list of candidates for the head coach of the Washington Commanders is the Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, the Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald, the Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, the Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, the Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, the Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, and the Ravens associate head coach Anthony Weaver. There are 2 names on this list I do not want, bar none. But tell me, do you have any favorites on this list?
Got to do more. I'd have to do a little more research on all those guys, to be honest with you.
2 months ago.
But if I'm looking at success, I got to look at the guy from the Ravens.
Yeah.
And then definitely got to look at the guy from the 49ers.
So here's where we are. There are 2 names I don't want. I don't want Dan Quinn because I don't want anything related to the Cowboys coming this way.
We agree.
Because we had Norville, who came in here from the Cowboys.
We agree. We fully agree on that one.
And while I like him, and while he was a part of our coaching staff when a lot of big names were here that went elsewhere, I don't want Raheem Morris, and I'll tell you why. His last 4 stops, the defense under his tutelage have gone from top 10 to bottom 3rd. So I don't want to see that again.
No.
He's taken teams like when he was the head coach of the Buccaneers, they were like number 10 in defense. They ended up number 27. And I think that we've got to be able to stop somebody.
For sure.
Because our offense can't stay on the field all the time. So while I like Raheem Morris, I don't know that he is the answer. Now, does the name Jim Harbaugh come into play here, sir?
I sure as hell hope so.
He's 60, so he's not old by any stretch, but he's not the young guy that I've been calling for. I've been calling for Ben Johnson from the Lions for a couple of months now. But he's 60, so not the young blood that I think the Redskins are looking for, but he's 144 and 52 in college, 49-22 as a head coach in the NFL. He's 193-74 overall. He's a winner. He's won 72% of his games. You saw what he did with the Big Blue. And in his absence, when he was caught up in a couple of things that they claimed Big Blue was cheating, he missed 3 games and they didn't miss a beat.
No.
So he authorizes and empowers people on his staff to be able to run the machine that he builds.
For sure. He's a name that I want.
So you put him in D.C., you put his brother in Baltimore, or his brother's already in Baltimore. It's a family thing. I'm neither here nor there on Jim Harbaugh. As a person, I have not followed his career. I would like to see him here, though. And what does that mean? I don't know what his coaching tree is like, but I imagine with his NFL resume, his college resume, he could bring some names.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, people want to play for a Harbaugh, right?
For sure.
What does this look like then? What does this look like? Are you just going? You called for it. You said you want to see what the offseason brings. Yeah. You're here now. You got Rivera's gone. We don't wish him any ill will, but he's gone, and you're just gonna sit back and have your popcorn.
I'm gonna sit back and watch and see what we do. I want to get back out to the stadium and watch some games.
Okay.
I haven't been able to do that under all that we've been going through over the last.
And not because you didn't have the time, but because it just didn't move you to do so.
No, it didn't, and I'm just excited.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm sounding a little monotone right now in terms of it, but I'm really excited inside to see what. I guess we're probably going to get a new name again, too.
I need us to be back in D.C. That's what I need.
I would love to see us back in D.C. I hear there's a lot of talks of that.
Okay.
I'm just ready. Name some folks, and I want to see what we draft and what we chase after in trade and free agency.
Here's the thing. While you nor I know when they're going to make this choice, we know they'll make it before April when the draft comes.
I have no choice.
So they're on the clock. They're on the clock, and they're moving quickly. They have 7 candidates, and people are flying in.
You said the draft day is what day?
It's in April, right? Usually around April 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere in there.
So you'd imagine we got to make a decision here in the next 2 weeks.
I was going to say 30 days, but yeah, because you got to start putting pieces together,
you got to put
right?
pieces together.
Yeah.
You got to have your crew together, start looking at what you have in-house, what could be available, what we might have, maybe some trades we might make in the draft.
Wait a minute. So you're saying during this current season of Take a T.O. with Coach Turner, we will be talking about that new coach.
Oh, for sure.
I think you're right. And we got the number 2 draft pick. So I told Paula. Paula is a Buffalo Bills fan.
Caleb Williams.
And I told her, you want to say it again?
Do you hear that in the background?
What's that, Steve?
Caleb Williams.
Well, they calling for him, huh?
Bring him home.
They calling for him.
Bring him home because the Bears ain't going to get him. The Bears they're going to get Harris.
I told Paula, Buffalo's doing the same thing we're doing. They're the number 2 seed, and we got the number 2 pick. So we both number 2s. The only problem is we're out of the playoffs, and they're in the playoffs. Speaking of which, the playoffs are here. Give me your predictions and thoughts on the following matchups. Green Bay at Dallas. McCarthy gets to play his old team in Dallas.
As much as this pains me to say,
yeah,
Dallas is going to win that game.
They're good at home.
But I'm very impressed with what Green Bay was able to do this year.
You didn't expect this.
No one expected this. And
is he a rookie or second-year quarterback?
Was
he third?
Second or third.
Okay, all right.
He's second or third.
Young cat.
But I mean, this is his rookie season,
right?
In terms of a whole year,
right?
And I think he showed them that he's their future.
He's got some grit, yeah. Rams at Lions.
Rocking with them Lions right now.
I'm rocking with the Lions too. Eagles at Bucks.
Jalen's my guy.
Right. So we're going Eagles, and why?
They think you're free today.
You got to be kidding me. All right. This is interesting. I don't know that the Texans even belong, but Cleveland Browns at Texans. Cleveland under Joe Flacco.
I'm going with Cleveland.
All right, buddy. It's going to get a little bit tougher on this next one. Dolphins at Chiefs. This is what I love about playoff football. There's no tomorrow. Somebody's going home after that game.
The Dolphins are at the Chiefs?
Yes. Because they ended up with the 7th seed because they lost to Buffalo.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Going with the Chiefs. Now, the Dolphins
they're not, because they're not, and the Dolphins aren't fully healthy.
Oh, my God. They have like 10 guys out.
So I'm going with the Chiefs.
The Dolphins have been building this, trying to get there.
It was a shame because I thought they were going to be a home seed and have some advantages in their favor, but they're not going to win it. They're not going to win it, Kansas City.
And the Chiefs still got it, huh?
Yeah. They still have enough.
Well, I'll tell you who has enough. You said it. Steelers at Bills. The Bills put it together when it mattered. Josh Allen's playing well. And here's the crazy thing. Stephon is not killing it right now. I'm not saying he's doing poorly.
No.
But he's not blowing up all the numbers, and they're still winning.
And this is his time.
Josh Allen.
I've watched the young man since he was a young man.
Right.
In the WCAC.
Right up the street.
It's money time.
Well, it's not right up the street. You got to go around that tree that fell down.
Right. But this is money time.
Okay.
Steph going to make some plays.
The Bills have, I cannot say his name, Young. I think he's a rookie tight end that is doing very well as well. But Steelers at Bill. Look, Steelers.
They were able to make some adjustments, and I heard an announcer say this during the game, and it made sense as he said it watching it. They got Josh in position to not have to make home run plays.
Not to be Superman every play, right?
And now that makes him dangerous.
Okay.
Because he can make superhero plays, but doesn't have to try to do it all the time.
Steelers are always going to be tough. And this is like season number 435 that Tomlin has not had a losing season. So kudos to him.
Hey.
It's like 16, 17 seasons in a row?
Quietly?
Mm-hmm. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
He ain't leaving. Steve, I see what's on your mind. I see he's not coming to D.C. We would all love that. Who in their right mind would not love that?
I can't have some wishful thinking.
I mean, I'd like to get him. I'd like to get Shanahan as his assistant coach.
What more can he do there?
Win some more Super Bowls, I guess.
What more can he do there?
I don't know. You want to see him come to DC? He did play at ODU.
We need a player. Whoever it is, we need a player's coach.
Okay, and he's a player's coach.
He is a player's coach.
Okay, all right. So you heard it first.
So he's on my mind.
You heard it first. We have a phenomenal wild card weekend in store, so I'm sure we will circle back to this once round one wraps up, is in the book. Coach, this segment's done. So we're going to get back to it in just a moment, and we will see you on the other side of this break. I don't know what break we're on, but we're going to take one right now.
The hottest hits, lighting and visual effects, heart-pounding bass. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association. Dynamic DJ Entertainment.
Healthy Baller is dedicated to developing athletes at any level through customized programs created by our world-class trainers. Healthy Baller creates an unparalleled training experience centered around the athlete and coach relationship. Between our physical therapy team and strength and conditioning staff, we create an all-encompassing process to help injured athletes return to the field. Become your own success story. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Everyone loves a photo booth. At Epic Photo Booths, we provide your corporate event, private party, mitzvah, or any event with an incredibly fun photo booth experience. With a touchscreen design, fun props, backdrops, and more, you'll want to book your Epic Photo Booth today. Photos are delivered via text, QR code, airdrop, and yeah, our Epic Booths print too. Book your Epic Photo Booth today by going to www.epicbooths.com. Epic Photo Booths. Elevate the fun at your next event. Go to www.epicbooths.com. You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross.
Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross. And of course, Coach Turner is the other half of this weekly podcast. Coach, let's get into our next segment. The WCAC basketball scene, Coach. Man, there have been some matchups and great hoops play in the DMV, and of course, as many of the WCAC teams have taken their talents on the road, there have been a good number of games to watch TV, stream it, featuring our local WCAC teams. Let me first quote your preseason Coach, this is your preseason prediction. Let's see what ended up happening with that.
Most people would have that PVI O'Connell
right
matchup. on the table, with both of those teams probably being preseason top 5 teams in the WCAC. And I would suspect that people will have the Gonzaga versus DeMatha matchup. We only get to play each other once in the regular season this year, but as I've looked at the rankings that people put out there, they have the both of us probably as top 5 teams in the league. So I would say those are definitely games that are going to be marked on people's calendar.
That's $5
as games that are must see.
Okay. All right. So, Coach, I'd like to say you were pretty accurate with your prediction. Paul VI, O'Connell, Gonzaga, and DeMatha being in the thick of it here midway through the season. Those are the teams to beat. While you have been correct, has anything surprised you in the WCAC so far?
No surprises.
Okay.
I think in the next couple of weeks you're going to start seeing some things totally clear up.
Okay.
We've all only had a couple to a few.
We're almost halfway in, but only a couple, right?
But we're halfway into the season,
right?
But now we're in the beginning of the WCAC season.
Okay.
So with that being part of the WCAC, none of us have played, I don't think, more than 3 in-league games.
Right.
And you had us get clipped at O'Connell last week, and then you had O'Connell come back and get clipped by DeMatha
last night, right?
You would have, if this storm, whatever we got going on today, didn't hit, you would have had a matchup. Oh, and then you had DeMatha come back at McNamara.
Dude.
21 down and end up
21 down, right?
And then you would have had the matchup of PVI and McNamara tonight.
Would have been a hell of a game.
So you're seeing some of the teams at the top already, as I told you, clip each other off.
And you can't count out McNamara at any point, right?
No. They got one of the top guys, I think, banged up right now. He probably would not have played tonight.
So that may have helped McNamara.
That would have helped PVI.
No, I mean, it helps McNamara that they didn't play tonight.
Yeah, it definitely helps that they didn't play tonight because they can schedule that game maybe for a future date when he's back.
So not tomorrow.
Back and healthy.
All of a sudden, they're not available tomorrow.
Never know. They might play tomorrow, but I always say this all the time. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We're all going to be in the playoffs. So holding out doesn't always mean anything because you don't want to be log jammed at the end of the year.
Right. I'm going to go off script for a second because we had some cancellations today. I love University of Maryland women's basketball. I love women's basketball in general. 4 seats is typically where I sit.
You big time.
I try to be. I try to be.
Y'all heard that, right? Floor seats. Can you give me some floor seats to the men's?
Well, that's a tougher ticket to get.
Get. I know you got some connections.
I know my man Bob Johnson. He's the PA announcer down there, so maybe.
Well, holla at Bob for a break.
That game was postponed. I'm pissed.
Oh, I didn't realize they got
Purdue leaked in the ceiling.
Oh, that's right.
It was a leak on Sunday.
That's right.
So I just got a notification about when it's rescheduled, so I may just do that when it's rescheduled. But what does it all take for you guys to cancel and put it back together? Are you doing a team bus to your away games, or are parents driving kids? How does that work, and what does it take to put that back together?
What it takes to put it back together is the coaches getting together to find out a date that works for both teams.
When JV's not playing, when wrestling's not in the building, all that, right?
All that stuff. You got to look. You got to look at the master calendar to figure out when we can get teams in, and then you're dealing with
officials.
Officials usually isn't the hard part.
Okay.
We just got to. You may not get some of the guys that you want on the game.
Okay.
Because people have scheduled out.
Right.
But the bigger thing is it's probably tougher for the co-ed schools.
Okay.
Because they've got to make sure it matches with the other schools.
Boys versus girls.
Exactly.
Both those sides.
They have more teams to have to deal with in terms of making.
Because it could be freshman, JV, and varsity on both genders, right? It can be wrestling, right? So you've got 7 teams at any one time that need practice time. Yep. And the bigger schools have 2 gyms, so we're okay there sometimes.
But a lot of people like to use their main gym for big wrestling events. They like to move them over.
Okay.
So, like our wrestling team will go in the main gym for their bigger events that they host at home.
So it's sometimes can be a nightmare. Be it snow, be it whatever.
We seem to figure it out. I wouldn't call it a nightmare. I think we do a very, very good job of working it out together and getting it all in.
Who did you have tonight?
I was off. This was my bye. And we played a non-league game yesterday.
And where the heck were you going? Because I know you weren't going to sit tight. I know you weren't going to sit. You're all over the place.
Nah, I would have probably watched them on stream.
Look at your boy.
Big time.
Look at your boy, Adam.
Big time.
All right. So last night, DeMatha had a win over O'Connell. Your Purple Eagles had a win over Riken. The Heights took a loss to Prep, and Archbishop Carroll had a win over
No,
Fairfax
we
Christian.
had St. Mary's of Annapolis, not Riken.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry. I saw St. Mary's.
Yeah, we had a non-league
So I assumed it was Riken. All right. Both of those were won. I lost my place here. The Heights took a loss to Prep, and Archbishop Carroll had a win over Fairfax Christian. Those were non-WCAC.
All non-WCAC games.
Non-WCAC.
The only WCAC game was the DeMatha
over O'Connell. Okay, and that was a good one. What do you know about that one? Was it a big win or?
Looked like following it 3 quarters pretty tight, and then DeMatha was able to pull away a little bit in the fourth quarter and win by, I don't know if they won by double, but somewhere between an 8 and 12 point win.
Okay, well, health plays a part in each team's success. How are you feeling about your team's health and how the league is going to look as we start to shake things out in the next several weeks?
Man, I love where we are, knock on wood, health-wise.
Okay, good.
We got all 13 guys available, and we're just working to stay healthy and working to grow as a team. And I like the direction that we're headed in as you start getting into the middle part of the WCAC season.
So I've been able to see your team play 3 times. I saw you at Blair. And with no disrespect to the Purple Eagles, I'm not sure if that was the best measure of who you guys are. I saw you play, I saw your stream where I was very impressed by your student commentators, and I loved what I saw in that game. That was the St. John's game. And then I saw the Mount Verity game. That's a tough one there, But you guys are looking good. You've got a rotation. You've got guys who fly around the ball. You've got guys who are athletic, and you're still not an older super veteran team, right?
Nah, we start 5 juniors. We have a good group of
you got some sophomores in there,
good
right?
mix coming into that next set of the rotation. Couple seniors, couple sophomores. So I like the mix of our team.
We're going to show some love. There are 2 more teams under your tutelage at Gonzaga. How are your JV and freshman teams doing?
They're both currently undefeated at this.
Okay.
Moment.
Excuse me, my bad.
Both having very, very good seasons.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. What makes you excited about your freshman team?
That they're growing in terms of being cohesive. I mean, that's the group that doesn't know anything when they walk in the door. They've got to learn it all quickly to get prepared for a season. And as you watch them gel and growing and playing together, it's been great to watch. It's great to watch Coach Moody and his staff find a way to get a lot of guys a lot of opportunity. I mean, he's playing most nights close to 15 kids.
And that gives you a chance to see some things, right?
Oh, definitely. You want to be able to start evaluating to see who's next.
Right. All right. Talk to me about your JV team. They're undefeated as well. And what makes you excited about them? And does the style of I assume it does. You've run this program for 20 years. Your freshman and JV teams, those styles of play, I assume, emulate what you'd like to see moving forward, right?
For the most part.
Okay.
There's some things that I think we can tighten up and become better at.
And I'm sure you give your coach some freedom, right? Your coaches.
I give them all freedom.
Okay.
But as I see things that are going to help us get certain guys and have an opportunity to get prepared to potentially play for me, there's some things that maybe I'll have to talk to them about in reference to what we're running, how they're running it, and being able to make sure that the next group of guys will have that opportunity when we graduate 5 seniors this year.
Question for you. Every day, I'm sure is the answer. But how often do you meet at length with your JV and your freshman coaches?
In the season, not very often.
Okay.
I try my best to be hands off. I want to give them autonomy to be the head of their ship. But certainly I watch with a watchful eye. Again, to be able to give pointers, to give tips, or to talk to them in reference to things that I may need to see so that I can evaluate for who may be next for me.
In the public school system, maybe in the private school system too, there is a protocol in place. I'm going to call out a woman who's never listened to our podcast. Her name is Cheryl Pulliam. She was a principal. She's retired in Montgomery County Public Schools on the elementary school level. At first, I didn't understand it, but then I did understand it. And I understand it very well now. In the 5 years that my kids were a part of her program under her school, and actually 6 years because Adam was there a little bit longer than Chelsea because he's younger, or for a long, further into the future. She could never keep an assistant principal because she trained them, and the county knew that once she trained them, they were ready.
They were ready to move
for their
on.
own schools. Yeah. How many coaches have you graduated into their own programs over your years? Because that's the mark of a good coach. Now, if they want to stay with you, to your credit, yes.
I think it's a little different with us because we have a lot of guys who played and went to Gonzaga in our younger staffs. So they love being a part of what they were a part of.
Right. And being that someone for someone else.
I mean, I've got Keith Ergo, who was a Gonzaga graduate, played at Gonzaga, part of one of my early staffs, head coach at Fordham University, last year's A-10 Coach of the Year.
Okay. I mean, damn, I was just talking about in the area, Steve. I wasn't talking on the national stage.
We're talking about where guys have had opportunities.
Right.
And so you get guys who come in and say what they're looking for. My job is to try to help grow them. Eric Singletary, part of our staff.
I'm going to see him Friday, right?
Now the head coach at Sidwell.
Yeah.
Went back to his home when that job opened up. I told him right away, that's home. You got to go take that.
Right.
And he did, and look what he's doing with it.
Right.
Unbelievable job. One of the best coaches in the area. I think one of the best coaches in the country.
Okay. Prep, right? That's one of your guys?
Howard Blue, on my first staff, played at Gonzaga, head coach at Prep, one of the best teams in the IAC.
I feel like you got Pilates, one of your guys?
Pilates, just the new coach this year, Pilates, Chris Douglas spent 2 years with me.
Okay.
Now the head coach there. And then my main man, Devin Williams, over at St. John's Catholic Prep up in Frederick.
Yeah.
The old St. John's Prospect Hall.
Hey, Steve, can you slow down? Because all your guys are leaving you, brother.
Nah, that's what I want.
Exactly.
If they're coming to be a part of our staff to hopefully learn some things from me that give them an opportunity, I want to keep
their success is your success,
I want
right?
to keep moving them.
Yeah, keep moving. I mean, we want
to build that tree.
You would love to have a staff that you could rely on for the next 10 years, but then that means they're not branching out and finding their own successes and failures. And coming back to you every once in a while and say, hey, coach, thanks. Or, hey, coach, what can I do differently here? Or, hey, coach, I want to be in the DC Classic, right? You want to come back. Have you battled any of those coaches in like the DC Classic?
This year's DC Classic, I coached against two of three.
Right. So you got to love that, right?
I had Devin in the opening round and played Howard Blue and Prep in the semifinals.
In the finals, you won that thing, huh?
And beat a former Gonzaga coach, but not from my tree.
Not under your tree. Okay.
Coach David T. Johnson.
Okay.
So a lot of roots to I Street.
And shout out to your father's club, right? They put together the Classic?
Yes, they do.
You always feel like they do a great job putting that together.
They do. I mean, I'm blessed to not have to feel like it's my job.
Right.
And I get to coach our team and focus on my guys versus having to focus on everybody that's a part of the event. I mean, I'm still heavily helping out in those regards.
But it's got to take dozens of volunteers.
Oh, we do.
There's the gate, there's concessions, there's sales.
It's a village.
Right, it's a village. Clarinda's in that village.
She keeps that concession going.
Them good hot dogs, Steve. I ain't had one in a while.
They said the cheeseburgers are even better.
Did I know y'all had cheeseburgers?
Maybe not.
Uh-oh, Steve, you're going to get me on I Street. You're going to get me down there on I Street. Look, on the girls' side, going back to the WCAC, the St. John's girls took a couple of losses this week, and it looks like Bishop McNamara is looking strong as usual, with this, as it often does, coming down to a two-team race with McNamara and St. John's on a crash course. I will tell you, though, Archbishop Carroll and St. Mary's Riken are playing some good ball. This is 1 year where I would say, I'm not calling it. Carroll beat St. John's. Riken is beating teams by 30. I mean, they're not beating McNamara by 30, but they're beating teams that ordinarily they would lose to. Riken, the Heights, those teams are not typically as strong in terms of the boys and girls side in the WCAC.
Well, I think that goes to show what we are always talking about on this podcast. DMV hoops on the boys and women's side is very strong.
Holy Cross used to be a pushover. They're no longer a pushover. There's some teams out there.
You got to remember, for a while there, Holy Cross was running the WCAC.
Seton was running it. Holy Cross was running it, right?
That's what makes the league fun.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen
new faces being at the top, teams who traditionally maybe been in the middle or the bottom, finding their way to rise to the top, and it moves around. And because there's such a talent pool to be able to pull from,
right,
makes for beautiful basketball.
On the boys' side, you have some teams that may be down this year, but you take a look at the 24-25 calendar, and maybe they won't be down anymore. Teams are not going to be. You're not going to see a team be a doormat for 4, 5, 6 years in a row. They're going to find a way to try to mix themselves up into it. Go for it. What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. You're going to find teams trying to mix themselves, into the thick of things. And right now, like I said, I've called a lot of games, and Riken doesn't often find success on the girls' side, but I'm looking at scores, and I have not seen them yet on the girls' side, but hey, man.
They're competing.
They're competing, and that's what you want to see. Coach, that just about does it for episode 13. Thanks to everyone who listens, supports, and passes along the word. As always, we appreciate the messages, the follows, the likes, and our growing audience. Remember, sponsorship and advertising opportunities are available, so contact us for info. Grow and increase your brand presence with our audience by choosing one of our advertising or sponsorship plans. We'd love to add your business to our portfolio. Coach, we didn't really talk about it, but Big Blue did that thing, didn't they? Don't start. You said you were wanting them to win, but you didn't think they would.
I thought it was beautiful to watch.
Right.
Another couple DMV boys.
Yeah, there were some DMV boys there.
That running back, which should have been at Gonzaga. That's a whole nother conversation for another
here we
day.
go.
And then Mr. Wallace, the transfer kid from Hyattsville.
Right.
Got to give him love.
Okay.
I think these last 2 games, that young man played himself into getting drafted.
You think so?
Oh, I think so.
All right. Well, Big Blue I did fail to ask, how is Mr. Jared Turner doing up there in the Huskies lands? I see they got a couple of teams that you're familiar with. Hofstra and Towson headed up to Boston for a 2-game stand. Are you going to make it up there?
I won't make it for those 2.
Okay.
I'm trying to get up there for the William and Mary game. I think is the next opportunity I'll have.
Okay.
And then I'll see him here at Towson on February 1.
And they come back this way, right?
And there's a couple others after that I think I got a chance to get to. And hey, the Coastal Athletic Conference.
The CAA, baby.
Tournament.
Right? What do we know
here.
about? What do we know about? Oh, it's here. Oh, shit.
It's here.
Oh, boy. Where's it going to be? At Towson or?
Go-Go's Arena.
Oh, really?
They were there last year, re-signed a 2-year contract, so I think this would be the year that was ending the current contract, and they would be plus two. So through his time of graduation, they're playing here in DC for the playoffs.
He's a sophomore now.
Sophomore.
So that's sophomore year, junior, senior. What if he goes to be a graduate player? Then that's up in the air because they haven't signed that one yet.
Nah, he wouldn't be a graduate player. You got to be at 5 years.
Okay.
You only get 4.
Okay, my bad. That's right. He's going to play these 4.
He better.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing online that some people are getting like their 7th year of eligibility.
These guys are guys who've been injured or got caught with COVID, all kinds of,
the transfer portal. Are you going to talk about it?
I don't want him in any injury and having to miss in any years. Let's see if we can get this thing done in 4.
All right, Hofstra and Towson, those are games to watch?
Oh, for sure.
Competitive games, you think?
They're two of the teams that'll be at the top of the league.
Okay, all right. So we're going to be looking for Mr. Jared Turner this week. What are we talking? Are we talking ESPN Plus? What streams are we looking at this week?
Their game on Thursday will be on CBS Sportsnet.
Okay.
And then you can catch them the rest of the way between Nesson and Flow Hoops.
Coach, thanks for another week in the studio. Anything you want to say to our listeners?
It's a new year. Keep dreaming, keep believing. Go after what you want.
Steve, I smell dinner starting to happen. There's a pork loin.
I was getting ready to say, Adam, you cooking them wings?
No, he ain't cooking the wings this time. Thanks again to everyone, and we'll be back here before you know it with episode 14. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.
We out.